Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. You all know I love sharing my secrets of how I went from $17,000 a year to a multimillionaire. My top essential tool for managing my two successful businesses, plus my crazy life, is my paper planner. But not any random planner, specifically my Inner Guide yearly planner. The Inner Guide planner doesn't just organize my schedule, it helps me map out and discover my goals, dreams, self-care, and keeps my millionaire mindset on track. I want you all to get planning right away for 2019. So I arranged to get a special Inner Guide discount exclusive to my ProjectME posse. Go pick out your favorite yearly planner at inner-guide.com. And at checkout, use the code ProjectME 15% off, and you will receive 15% off your entire order. If you are driving or multitasking and can't write this down, the Inner Guide link and code is in my Instagram bio at ProjectME with Tiffany. And remember, as I always say, you are either planning for success or heading to failure. You are listening to the podcast ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. Hey guys, do you have a great idea you keep stored away in your brain? Maybe you thought about it while you're taking a shower or on vacation or something like that. Or have you ever watched an episode of Shark Tank and asked yourself, why didn't I think of that? Well, I brought on a female entrepreneur who saw a need, a problem, and came up with an idea to solve it. And then she turned it into a legit business. I have on Julie Westervelt, founder of Sleep Crown. And you guys, this is truly the most unique pillow I've ever used. And it sounds weird, how could you reinvent the pillow? But she did. So, hey, Julie, how are you?
Hi, Tiffany. I'm great. Thank you for having me on. I'm so excited to talk to you today.
I am super excited. So first, I want everyone, all the listeners to know, how you came on my show, because everyone knows I hand select every guest. So I have, I'm obsessed with finding a way to always get a better quality of sleep and better quality, in my meditation, in my naps, and all of it. That is a key to my whole recovery from having, I'll just use the term burnout, to a major level. And so I'm always open to trying something new. And I've spent a fortune on all sorts of things, supplements, all of it. And I don't even remember how I can't even remember now, which is not very helpful to you in terms of marketing, but I can't even remember how I came across the Sleep Crown pillow and all of it. But I guess it doesn't matter because I bought one and I'm obsessed with it. I've used it a week now and it's life-changing.
I'm so delighted to hear that. It's just, I would love to know how you originally discovered it, but that is exactly what it is. It's a very practical tool that helps your sleep just by preventing the things that would normally disrupt your sleep. So I know it does sound so wacky and crazy when I tell people I've invented an over-the-head pillow. They just look at me like that sounds insane. But yeah, it really is effective, and it's really working to help a lot of people find their way back to bed.
So share with us so we know. I mean, you've been practicing and teaching yoga as a form of obviously income for about 10 years now. So first off, how did this idea come into play? Take us through the whole process, because we all have these ideas when we're having cocktails with our friends that we think are amazing, and then they get stored in our brain and we never do anything with them. So take us through your process.
Okay. the genesis of Sleep Crown was I actually found it instinctively as a little girl. I've always slept with a pillow over my head, and a surprising amount of people do. There are a lot of people in this country sleeping with something over their head. So I actually have had the idea sitting over my head my entire life, and it always felt really nurturing and comforting to me. But it wasn't until I started teaching and studying restorative yoga that I really figured out the why behind, why that feels so good. And so just to back up a step, Sleep Crown is a pillow that does it. It's the size and shape of a pillow, but it kind of drapes over your eyes, the crown of your head, and your ears. So it does three things for you. It blocks out light, it muffles sound by actually quite a lot, and it offers just this gentle pressure over the top of your head that, our bodies really crave compression. It's why a massage feels so good. When you go to the dentist and they drape a sand vest over you when you're getting an x-ray, that just feels so good. You want to sink back in the chair. And so I think the gentle pressure that the pillow provides just makes you feel swaddled and nurtured and tucked in. And then just, when you make it dark and you make it quiet and you feel cozy and tucked in, and that's kind of, it all came together to help protect your sleep. So
how did you take this from, I see where you had the idea from. It was already something you liked. I get the yoga connection because what's helpful and relaxing and grounding for the body. But a lot of people have ideas and they just sit in their head and no one takes action on them. So what got you to take action?
Well, I think it's a couple things. One, I have a daughter who is a senior in high school and she's about to go to college. So, what they say about yoga teachers, we're spiritually rich and financially there's, kind of a ceiling there that you can only teach so much yoga. And so I was kind of, thinking about what else I could do. And the other thing is being an independent yoga teacher is a really great training ground for becoming an entrepreneur, because I had to kind of invent my whole business and, take care of all the scheduling and the accounting and the planning and the actual doing, the actual teaching, the getting there, the organizing. There's just so much to manage that behind the scenes. And so I feel like I really kind of already had an entrepreneurial spirit, but I never knew that I was going to develop a product. But one morning I was asleep. My daughter was getting ready for school, and it just came to me in a moment. Like, this is my sleep secret, and this is what I'm going to do. I knew that it was a good idea. People really have responded to it well, and I just put one foot in front of the other and started figuring it out. Like, I have no training for this. So if I can do this, anybody can develop an idea and turn it into an actual product. I promise.
So, I can imagine this is why so many people have ideas. Like, my fiance tells me his ideas all the time and he doesn't do anything with them. There's a lot of people that have ideas. And then when if they even take the step to research it, they see how much work it is to take an idea, an invention, and actually even do a prototype. So how did you start out exploring how you could take this idea, invention of yours and bring it to life?
I just Googled, production, or I think design. I knew I don't sew, so I knew I needed some help in actually making a prototype so I could just put one foot in front of the other and start making something and see if this was even possible. So I live in Austin, Texas, and I found an apparel manufacturer here that helped me develop the prototype. So we went through several rounds of just making the shape. My challenge was that I wanted to make something brand new feel already really old and broken into and like a lovey, and it's hard to find the right materials that, it's so important the way this product feels, the way it drapes, it's almost like you have an emotional connection to it. And so I just started playing with different types of materials and the way they drape and the way they feel. And I actually had this disgusting 30-year-old pillow that I've used. So, I mean, it was like, it's basically a bag of dander at this point, but that's what I wanted it to feel like. And I tried to find something else to replace it, to use for myself personally, and wasn't able to find anything. So I took this yucky pillow into these. I was like, please don't judge me, but this is what we're looking to create. And they helped me prototype. And then I started using different types of fills and different types of fabric and construction and, the weight of it, and just played around. And the greatest stroke of luck is that, are you familiar with the company Bulletproof?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Well, they've just been so supportive and lovely. And they were having a conference, and I reached out to them because I thought their biohacking crowd would be a great fit for my product. And I just wanted to go and do a proof of concept somewhere, but I wasn't ready yet. And so I saw they were having a conference. So I reached out to just say, hey, can I'd love to come next year. I want to find information about it. And they said, oh, come this year. And I was like, oh, I'm not ready. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I don't have a product yet. And they said, well, just bring some prototypes and our crowd will give you great feedback. And I just wasn't sure. And then they just like kicked me into gear, and I decided to just go for it. And so I actually was able to make product and have it for the show. This was in the fall of 2017. And I showed up, and it was like, this is the most insane thing I've ever done. What am I even doing here? And I took 45 pillows with me because I didn't even know how many pillows to take. And I showed up, and people loved it. I mean, they just went crazy for it. I had people in my booth the whole weekend. I was sold out like by the middle of the event, and people were ordering more online. And as soon as I got home, they're telling their friends, and it just kind of had this amazing grassroots support from the jump. So it was just so
how
exciting.
That's such a cool story. I mean, and you're talking like Bulletproof Coffee, that brand,
yes,
right?
Yes.
How did Bulletproof find out about you? Did they find you, or did you reach out to them initially?
I reached out to them initially just because their community that they've created, they are popular for their Bulletproof coffee. It's the butter coffee, but they also are just a general health and wellness brand. And they, have all kinds of products and ideas to optimize your health. And so their crowd is really open to trying different ways to improve movement, sleep, nutrition. A lot of people are like, that's a coffee company. You're a sleep company. How does that make any sense? But, sometimes you need to be up and sometimes you need to be down.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean, that's my life is I need to be up. I need to be down.
Yes. And we need to be efficient when we need to, which direction we need to go. So, yeah.
So did you contact them? Just so like, I like taking my audience through like best practices. Did you DM them or?
I just sent them an email. I drank their coffee, so I liked their product. And I first came across their company at an activation at a wellness show in Austin called Paleo FX. And I was just blown away by what they were doing, how they presented. They had an oxygen bar. Their staff was there serving coffee, and they have nutrition bars. And it was a really impressive group. And then when I saw they were having their own conference, that was intriguing. And it kind of, the timing aligned with, my launch or my planned launch, but it was a little soon. So I didn't think I could be ready by then. And so I went to their website, their conference website, and I just cold emailed them and said, "Hi, I'm making this pillow that goes over your head, and I think that your crowd would like what I'm doing, and I know that you really value your sleep." And so they just responded to me right away and have, truly been the most supportive. They've invited me to other events that they've done. I've done pop-ups within their activation. They've just been really wonderful and supporting
you
me.
guys, listen, this is what I mean by you've got to just ask.
Yes.
She just sent an email to a rather large company in the health space, and they wrote her back from an email. It's not like, as far as I know, it's not like you have some special celebrity connection or you have any special, extra special sauce. It was you and your pillow, right?
Absolutely. That's right. And I just asked, and I'll even let you go further behind the curtain. I was asking how much a booth cost. And I said, I can't afford it yet. I'm just launching, but I'm inquiring about next year. And they said, "Oh, we have an entrepreneurial space. We'll put your name in the basket for that, that space. And if you get it, it's free." And I was like, "Okay, go ahead and put my name in the basket. Thank you for that." And thinking, I'd never get it. And then they called me back 2 weeks later and said, "You can come for free."
See, and that's how manifestation and the universe works. It's like,
that's right.
You are being supported because you genuinely sought a problem and found a need and are going for it, and you are being supported for it. That's amazing.
You're so right, Tiffany. And I love that message that you deliver about recognizing abundance and asking for what you need and what you want. And once you decide, the universe lines up to support you. It's not like, oh, it's all so easy. Like, I've definitely faced plenty of scary moments and hardships along the way, but you're so, just this conversation right now, this pillow has connected me to the most beautiful, amazing, supportive people. And I'm just pinching myself. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And to speak more on that, I know there's this whole myth out there. Well, I can't, I don't have a large social media following, so I won't be able to make, money doing whatever, or who's going to listen to me? Well, I'm looking at the Sleep Crown. It's at Sleep Crown on Instagram. There's 1,272 followers. Okay. So it really doesn't matter. And with that being said,
I've worked for every single one of them.
Yeah. I get it. I believe you. So have I. So, I noticed that you have gotten some very notable press, like Pop Sugar and the McCord list. So can you share how those opportunities came about? 'Cause that's pretty major.
Yeah. Yes, that was well, and even just from the jump, I got to meet Allie Landry at the Bulletproof conference, and she was seeking. She has a website called Reshape Live, and she was seeking some wellness products to kind of try. And she only authentically supports things that she likes, and so that was an amazing connection from right from the beginning weekend of launching my business. So she did a lot of posts about Sleep Crown and how it's helping her sleep. Let's see, Bulletproof connected me to, I'm losing my train of thought.
Pop Sugar or the McCord list?
Oh, the McCord list. Bulletproof, my connections, they treat me like family. At Bulletproof, they actually introduced me to Rachel McCord, who has the McCord list, and she brings together a group of her friends who are influencers, models, actresses, and she does a monthly photo shoot, and they invite brands to come in and kind of interact, because a lot of social media influencers are always looking for content and things to talk about. So I just got to do that. Gosh, that was only a couple of weeks ago. So that was an incredible experience. Rachel McCord is the biggest sweetheart, and her husband, Rick Shermer, are just lovely, lovely people. They also were really supportive. And the Pop Sugar article, Jenny Sugar just was a found sleep crown, and she likes to support. She really is into sleep as well, and so I think she purchases and receives a lot of sleep products and samples, and she digs my product. Thank goodness.
See, I mean,
amazing.
This is how, you guys, this is how this happens. I mean, it can be a domino effect if you believe that you deserve it, you believe in your product, but let's make sure we like keep it real here. I mean,
okay,
I imagine, right? I imagine that just because you got this very high quality, wonderful press that I know you're grateful for, that doesn't mean all of a sudden you're like sleeping with like millions of dollars in your bed and your sleep crown.
That's right. No, my sleep crowns are not stuffed with money. Not yet.
So, I mean, can you help give perspective to, and help set some expectations on what happens when you get press like that?
Sure. I mean, my product is very expensive, and so that's not everybody can afford a sleep crown. So when I got the Pop Sugar article, the reviews, Jenny Sugar has actually done 3 separate reviews on Pop Sugar Fitness, which is just blows my mind. And so each time she's done a review, if my laptop's open, I will just start hearing orders pinging through, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on?
That's exciting.
So those are days that I'm like literally jumping up and down with every order. It's so exciting. So for like the first review she did, I think I ended up getting like maybe 55 orders or something like that. So, a lot. That's a lot for me. This is a handmade product. So, but it's not like, oh, I got, 5,000 orders overnight or something.
Yeah, but still, that's significant. And I'm not sure if it cut out, you guys, but the sleep crown, first off, your product isn't expensive. It's $168. And the reason I say that is because of how much money, if we all sat here and calculated, for those of us who ever have issues sleeping or want better sleep, how much money we have spent cumulatively over the years on all sorts of things to help us sleep. If I add up my supplements alone, it's in thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yes. I mean, I think it's worth it for sure. And if you value your sleep and it's something that is natural, it's not something that you have to ingest. You don't have to take a pill. You don't have to schedule anything, remember anything. You just leave it in your bed and flop it over your head. So it's, really
I
easy
like
to
that.
use,
So. I like things. My people know I love things that rhyme, and I get really excited. Especially like when it's like a marketing like kind of slogan. When it rhymes, I'm like, oh, I love it. That's even better.
So that's good. All right, I need to use that then.
I love that. So since you really, even though technically as a yoga instructor, or if someone is, a fitness trainer or something, you are technically an independent contractor. So what that life, looks like. I mean, in a sense, you are working for yourself, but in terms of actually building a product-based business from scratch, how did you figure out all the things? How did you figure out the website with the shopping cart and the price points and the yada, yada, yada?
You hire help for things that you don't understand. I mean, I certainly didn't want to learn how to design a website, and I have an amazing marketing expert here in Austin that designed I hired one person to design my logo. I found them on a website called 99 Designs, which I highly recommend. It was such a fun process. entered my information. Here's my company name. These are the colors I like. This is kind of my idea and what I'm trying to convey. And then they contact graphic designers. And within, I think, like 3 days, you get 30 samples of logos and you get to choose. It was overwhelming trying to choose which one to go with because there were so many amazing, great options. And so that was fun. And then my website designer and marketing helper just created, I just love my website. It's so beautiful. It just feels really relaxing. And I've recorded some guided relaxations to help you drift off to sleep. So there's some meditation, some breath work. And she was able to incorporate all that and build the shop in. And what else have I have had a tremendous photographer that's helped me create some beautiful images to use. So I don't know how to do it all. I try to focus. I try to be frugal and do the things that I know how to do. And then for the things where I don't have any special, expertise, I find great help.
And that is what I always preach. I preach and teach it because if I could go back, which I get asked this a lot, like if I could go back after 11 years as an entrepreneur, is there one thing I would have done differently? And it would have been to hire a high level business coach sooner. And it would have been to have hired help sooner versus me I was kind of being cheap, because when you start out, you're not making a ton of money.
A choice.
Yeah, but it's like there's always ways you can hire interns, do things for trade. And so I was kind of being a little cheap. So how did you, since this is a startup and as you already stated, like yoga instructors aren't exactly known as the most financially wealthy people in the world. So how did you have the funds to invest in having someone do your website, your photos, etc.?
Well, I had a little tiny savings account that was just sitting on the side. My mom believed in me and was supportive and gave me money even though I didn't ask for it. My boyfriend did the same thing. So I had just tremendous support from the beginning, but still taking money out of that account that I've just protected and saved $1 at a time was so scary to me to take money out and just, buy 500 yards of fabric that was very expensive. And just to make the prototype, just to start out, it was like, oh my gosh.
It is scary because it's a risk. I mean, starting a business is a risk, period. It's scary. Yes.
There's no guarantee that you're going to get $1 back. And it goes against every ounce of my frugality and my, you have to give up a little bit of control and just kind of jump off a cliff and believe in your idea. And so those kinds of things, like letting go of my death grip of control and letting go of some money, spending money in order to make this grow and create something, those lessons have been my biggest in this experience. But I mean, I have made back just through the people that I've met, through the experience that I've had, through the travel. I've gotten to go and do all these wellness events and expos and trade shows. And every one of those experiences has just been life altering. I've taken, I think, 13 trips this year. And it's just been such a joy. And I've made my money back too. So
what are you in business? Year 2?
I just had my 1-year anniversary. So I'm like 13 months old.
Wow. So in 13 months, would you say because this is how I teach. Okay. So obviously you had so to speak, and your family can be investors. I'm an investor to my one company invests in this company. So you have investors. So you've made enough, so to speak, whether they wanted the money back or not. Have you made enough to pay them back and your savings account back?
Yes, I've replenished everything that I've put in from the start, and and I've made actually quite a bit of money, but I've reinvested. I mean, I bought equipment. I've put it all back into the company. I haven't taken a dollar yet.
As you should. But it is not typical to be able to do that in your first year of business, to even be that, to have additional profits to put back in your business. That's not typical. So that's incredible. However, you took the risk with your funds and, got additional funds, which helped you get a head start. You weren't starting from, zero dinero, as I say.
Right. But I did, I'll say, I think I started with like $10,000. It wasn't $1 million or anything like that. It was a reasonable amount.
So why do you think that this sleep crown, when there's a bazillion different pillows, sleep masks, noise canceling headphones like I wear right now for doing a podcast, there's a million, there's, the earbuds, there's the earplugs, there are so many different things and it's a noisy space. What do you think it is about the sleep crown that has cut through that noise where you're already profitable in a year?
I think that, one thing, when I took it to the market, I go around and I let people experience it live. So in my booth, I have a bed and they can lay down and actually feel it, because it's a different idea and it sounds crazy. So I wanted to be in a place where people could actually test drive it. And I love getting to demo it in a bright and loud trade center. Or trade show, because it just exemplifies how much light it blocks out, how much sound it actually muffles. And then just the feeling of it is you can't help but feel nurtured when you're underneath it. It's so soft. It's really squishy. And I think people have had just kind of an emotional connection to it. And then when it actually helps them sleep, it's a talker of a product. Because it's so odd that I think it comes up at dinner parties, and when it helps somebody sleep, they end up thinking, "Oh, I'm going to buy this as a gift for my friend for their birthday," or it's turned out to be, my peaks of the year have been Mother's Day, Father's Day, and holiday time. So it's quite a gift item as well, and so.
Well, you're giving the gift of sleep, and it's usually coming from someone who already uses it. I would imagine that the path that occurred for me to get to you, meaning I did not see your product at any of these trade shows. Was not told about your product from any friends or fans of mine. I, in fact, never saw anything on the McCord list or any of your press. Okay. So I know I'm not typical in how I reached you. So how are you, marketing wise, helping people who like myself get to you via conventional, they're coming to you online, or maybe they did a Google search about sleep and, they went down 30 different paths and they somehow landed on you. This is a product that is very weird to see. Even just a picture of is not necessarily sufficient. It's helpful, but it's not even enough. Like you said, this is a product that you really get it once you try it. So how are you handling that when it's in the digital space?
Yeah, that actually has been one of my biggest challenges. And I've had a few flops there where I thought, oh, this is going to be great, and spent a bunch of money on Google AdWords or Facebook ads. And it's hard for me to convey the experience of the product online. So I mentioned Allie Landry. I think she's been the very best at describing how she uses it, what problems it solves, demonstrating the product. So I'm still figuring that out, honestly. And that's when I added a line to my shop that when you order it, it says, "How did you discover Sleep Crown?" Because I'm always curious how people end up finding it in the digital space. And then I also have a wholesale partner called the Grommet. and they represent small makers, and they've done a good job of telling the story of the product and telling my story of how I invented it. And so they've been really helpful. And I think they're helpful because they're such a big website that they've helped with my SEO to kind of pop me up closer to the top of searches. And same thing with the Pop Sugar article.
Yes, that's exactly what helps your organic SEO for sure. And also, what content that you have written on your website, is very searchable. You're including everything from, sleep issues, insomnia, that kind of thing. Right. Mm-hmm. So with this, I've never heard of the grommet because I don't sell, at least right now, I don't sell any physical, tangible products. So how did you come across working with the grommet? Did you research them? Did they meet you at a trade show?
Actually, it was one of my yoga clients said, "Oh, you should be on the grommet." And I said, "What is the grommet?" And so she sent me a link to their website because she purchased things from them. And another cold email. I just reached out and said, this is what I'm doing, and I think it would be a good fit for your offerings. And their team asked me to send them a sample, and they thought it was a good idea, and we've been working together for almost a year. And so they'll do different promotions. I can always tell when they send out an email blast that has Sleep Crown in it, because all of a sudden, I'll get 15 orders, and so I get to kind of try to figure out and track things back where the original discovery point was.
Now,
but
when you work with with the grommet, for example, that's treated similar, right, to almost as though you're making a deal with like Nordstrom's or something. You give them a wholesale price, right, on your pillows, and then they obviously make the difference between the wholesale price and what they're selling it for.
Exactly.
It's not like they're making it's not like an affiliate deal where every pillow they sell, they get $30. It's more like a traditional wholesale deal. Retail. Okay. Exactly. Interesting. Yeah. Do you do any sort of affiliate deals with people?
I haven't, but I'm just starting to try to figure that out. I've just barely tiptoed into it. I'm not really sure how it works, or if it's, and I'll tell you the reason why I've been hesitant to do it is because, like we were just saying, I've tried to do a few things online, and it's just really hard to tell the story. It just doesn't convey in an image as much as it does in a personal experience. But I can't just be a traveling pillow salesman all the time.
Right. Because then you start trading your time for money, which is, I'm very against that. But you have to do that in the beginning. But there's only one of you. You want to be making money while you're sleeping with your sleep crown.
Exactly.
And not just dependent on, which is great that you have these avenues, but not just depending on, when you do get some great press and there's a review and now you get 50 orders, like those are great things, but just to be dependent on that, that's not a safe business model.
Exactly. Yeah. So, and I've really been following the energy of the product. It has brought in so many amazing connections. Like I say, it's like I barely have time to keep up with all of the connections and all of the things that have come through before I can even seek out something more. So it's really been a magical experience in that way.
I just can't get over how you literally sent an email. It's not like you knew I'm neighbors with the CEO of the grommet. It's like you went to their website, found their contact us or whatever section and emailed them that way, correct?
Yes, I have no shame about that. I do it all the time.
No, I mean, that's my point. And what blows my mind still with people is I offer all the time. I offer it all my social media channels. I'm going to offer it again right now on my podcast. I want you guys to always, when you listen to an episode or you have a question or you're confused about something, you can DM me. You can message me on Facebook at ProjectME with Tiffany, on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany, and anyone who's done it knows I always write back. It's me writing back, and I'm answering your questions, but it's so funny how few people will even do that.
I know. Yeah, and I feel the same way. Please, I love to talk to people about sleep, so I'm completely available and accessible.
Right, like you guys, if you're like, this sleep crown thing sounds legit, or I have migraines. A lot of people have migraines.
Yes,
I have a friend who has migraines. They have to block everything out. You have migraines, whatever it is. It's like, if you have a question, and you're like, I want to know more about it. I guarantee you, if you DM at Sleep Crown on Instagram, I guarantee you Julie will answer you. You know why? Because I DM'd her and she answered me. And then I can hear my audience going, well, yeah, Tiffany, but you're Tiffany Carter and you have a top podcast and da-da-da-da. P.S. I've also reached out to people who never wrote back, even though this is a free press opportunity.
Yeah.
And guess what? I have a feeling they won't have much longevity in their business doing it that way, because that's ridiculous. Imagine if you didn't jump when Pop Sugar wanted to do something and provide them everything they needed. And you're like, oh, I can't this week. I don't have time. It's like, that doesn't fly.
No. Well, and really it's so much fun for me to connect with everybody. I just love it. It's all about just love, really, and getting to meet people, and I feel so trusted and honored to get to hear people's stories about their sleep, and or that they share that this product has helped them with a problem that they've experienced for years, and then all of a sudden they can sleep. Like, that's a magical moment for me, and I don't want to miss a single one of those. So I'm happy to do it.
So are you still hand making these yourself, or do you have helpers?
Well, this is a big pivotal week for me. I'm so happy to report. I love making these pillows. I love playing with the fill and stuffing them myself. And so I will always do that because I love it. It's a very grounding experience. But my orders were outpacing my ability to do it all myself. And I just purchased a magical pillow stuffing machine from India. And that's one of my biggest challenges so far, is getting this machine online. And I was fearful the whole time because buying it, getting it here, all of that, I wasn't sure that it was going to have the same feel and quality. And so that was another risk, but I just went through a very rocky process of getting it all installed and up to my satisfaction. And this week, the first pillows, rolled off the line, and I'm so thrilled. They're better than I could even make them myself. They're smoother. I mean, it's still they're made one at a time. It's a person making them, but I'll be able to make them faster and better. So I'm so happy.
So, but prior to the machine, was someone making the actual casing for you?
Yes. The apparel manufacturer that helped me prototype, they handle all my production because, like I said, I don't sew. So they did all the cutting and sewing, and then I was hand filling the pillows myself.
But and then who closes the little hole that's left from filling it?
So, good question. I don't know if you've inspected your sleep crown, but that's actually a zipper across the top. There's an invisible, two invisible zippers. And I did that so that I could fill them myself, but also, even though I had the opportunity to change that and let somebody sew it up, I left it because everybody's a little bit different how much weight they want their sleep crown to have. And so you can adjust the weight of the pillow by unzipping it and removing fill. Or some people like to, put in some amethyst, or you can put in extra fill and make
that's
it
a great
heavier.
point. You could put a crystal in there, or
Love
some
note.
people love, you can get like a lavender sachet or something.
Yes, exactly.
That's a great, I didn't know there's this.
Yeah.
Now of course I want to put a crystal in a lavender sachet.
Yes, please do. You can tuck in whatever you'd like into your crown.
What a great idea. Well, I'm so excited we were able to make this work, because I wanted this episode to come on not only to teach you guys who have ideas for actual tangible items and it sounds overwhelming, like how could I take it from idea to concept? And it's like, well, it's work, but it's possible because Julie just told you so. We just walked you through it. But also I wanted to make sure, because I know a lot of my fellow, boss babes out there, I've male listeners too, plus a lot of us sleep next to significant others who snore. Just saying.
Yeah. I know. I always say it won't do anything to keep them from snoring, but it'll help you not hear it as much.
Totally. I'm just saying that does help me. So I wanted to make sure that you guys heard this episode in time. If you really want to give a gift, like from the heart, for someone even if it's a client of yours, someone whether it's business or in your personal life, that does struggle with sleeping or migraines, or is very into, meditation, and or yoga, this is a great gift. Yeah, is the price? It's a luxury gift for sure. I mean, it's about what is it, $168?
Yes.
It's $168, but like you guys have to keep in mind, like the latest trend on Instagram is those weighted blankets. And that's another thing that can help ground you when you sleep and reduce anxiety. Those cost way more. So,
yeah. And, the one thing that I feel like the price is justified is that, well, it works and helps your sleep, but also it includes the pillow. It comes with the custom pillow case, and it comes with a little bottle of pillow mist that is made of 4 different essential oils that also promote a sense of calm, and it includes free shipping. So.
Yeah, I mean, and you're giving my ProjectME posse some kind of a discount too, right?
I sure am.
What is it?
It's a $10 off discount code. The promo code is ProjectME, and it's all caps, no spaces.
See, guys, I hook you up. I mean, this is how it happens. I mean, she did take aligned action. Julie, you took aligned action. You had the idea and you did the work to bring it to life, but you also sent the emails and had a thought process of, this would make sense. Like this bulletproof community, this would make sense. Like you actually then took the risk of being rejected and went out there and wrote the email. This is where I see so many people who come to me, whether, in my customized coaching experience, whether I've been speaking somewhere and they come up to me after, it's because you guys aren't taking this aligned action, and you just take it and you believe in yourself and the product. Look what happens. Like, Julie's now on my show. She in a year, she's profitable. She's gotten publicity that, that's worth, quite frankly, it's worth tens and tens of thousands of dollars that she got for free.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I mean, it's doable, but you have to take the action and then have that like true deep belief in what you've created. And you have that.
Oh, yes. This product is a true extension of my heart. It does not feel like work to me at all. I love what I'm doing so much. And like I said, I've gotten to get connected to a beautiful community of people. So it's easy.
Well, I have to just say, thank God that you did create this. And that you didn't just keep it as an idea, because like I'm I'm obsessed with it. Like, and people know when I get obsessed with something, like I'm really deeply obsessed.
Wow.
And so it's just like, it basically, like, I call, like, I know some people use the term like blankie or whoopee. It's like my pillow whoopee, because I already have a blankie. I mean, I do. And I have no shame about it. I already have a blankie, but it's like the pillow version of a blankie. Seriously.
Oh, it's so great. Yes, it's for the snugglers for sure.
Well, thank you so much.
That means the world to me. Your support it's so beautiful. Thank you.
Of course. I loved having you on. And you guys, if you got a lot out of this episode, it would really be helpful for Julie and I to know that. And how you can let us know is you can leave a 5-star written review on iTunes. It literally will take you 30 seconds to do it. You can take a screenshot of it if you want and, send it to me at ProjectME with Tiffany. But just leaving the written review allows us to be able to have more amazing guests come on, and it helps support small business owners like Julie with the Sleep Crown, so people can learn more about products, female entrepreneurs, and we can just spread the love with hashtag women supporting women. So you guys go do that. And as always, wishing everyone great health, wealth, and worth. Julie, it's been such a pleasure. Thank you so much.
All mine. Thank you, Tiffany. I really appreciate you.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.